The centre has told the Supreme Court that there is no need to criminalize marital rape as there are other suitably designed punitive measures. The centre said that it is not within the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court to criminalize marital rape. They said that the issue of marital rape is more a social issue than a legal one, as it will have a direct effect on the society. This issue, that is the issue of marital rape, cannot be decided without proper consultation with all the stakeholders, say the centre, or without taking into account the views of all the states. That's what the centre said in their appeal to Supreme Court. Well, we are joined by Supreme Court advocate Sana Rais Khan. Sana, what is your reaction straight away to what the centre is saying, telling the Supreme Court the fact that centre is saying that it is not court's jurisdiction to take punitive measures against marital rape?
See, the government is opposing criminalization of marital rape, arguing that it will threaten the sanctity of marital life. But the sanctity cannot be preserved at the cost of women's dignity, safety and rights, as true marital harmony is always based on mutual respect and consent and not coercion and fear. So marital rape is a violation of fundamental rights of our Indian Constitution as well as violation of basic human rights. Today, about 150 countries, including Singapore, have made marital rape as a criminal offense, but India is one of the few countries that are still not impeached marital rape. So, and let's take a look at the Supreme Court view on, in terms of landmark judgments. In Suchitra versus Chandigarh, Supreme Court equated right to choose a sexual activity within Article 21. Again, Supreme Court recognized the right to privacy of all citizens in Justice K.S. Puttuswamy judgment, where it has been held that an important aspect of privacy is decision-making privacy, particularly when it comes to decisions about one's sexuality, procreation. And again, Justice Chandrachud has posed the question whether a woman or a man loses sexual autonomy when they marry. He's thereafter even observed that, he noted that the right to refuse sex should also exist after marriage. So considering all these decisions, Supreme Court has upheld Article 21 of our Constitution as granting all the women the right to abstain from sexual activity. But despite the situation, the marital rape in India is still viewed as a domestic violence issue. Therefore, the remedies available to a survivor are civil in nature and are limited to protection orders, judicial separation, and monetary compensation, of course, and not...
Sana, why would you say is the government hesitant to make it, to get for the Supreme Court to get in punitive measures?
Because perhaps, the sanctity of, all these grounds which are being raised to preserve the sanctity of marital life and the institution is absolutely making no sense considering the statistics. If you see the statistics, 45% of married women have experienced both physical and sexual violence, resulting in cuts, injuries, burns and all. And, the recent publication by NFHS also reveals that spousal sexual violence is still relevant. 82% of married men were sexually violent to their current wives, as were 13% of former husbands. So despite the evidence of adverse effects of marital rape on the mental and emotional health of victims in India, rape in the context of marriage remains largely unaddressed. More than 95% endured sexual violence, identified their husbands or former husbands as the perpetrators. So I feel that, of course, it is extremely important to criminalize marital rape, because that will give women basic human rights, which will give them a sense of sanctity against the most heinous crime that can happen inside marriage. Criminalizing is
right. Also, Sana, the court here, the centre here clearly saying that it is more of a social issue than something that is to be decided in the court. Tell us a little bit about how then the society should react to such things and kind of be tuned to all of these things will be governed by society if there's more awareness. So how can awareness really spread about issues like marital rape?
Definitely, there has to be education and awareness campaigns. They can definitely help to a certain extent, but beyond that, a deterrent measure like a punitive measure is absolutely essential, especially in the light of the reportings that have been made. Despite of reporting, there can be no action, because in the absence of stringent laws, what will the report? What can the reporting even fructify? Absolutely, in fact, the government measures, and I mean, no alternative measure other than a proper penal measure would, in my view and opinion, would be appropriate in this. And and again, it has been time again held that our constitutional rights always supersede and override all other rights. So if it is in violation of our constitutional rights under Article 14, under Article 21, which is the prime right to life, right to health, if it is in violation of all these fundamental rights, then I don't see any reason as to why the government is still waiting. The government is still citing excuses under the garb of calling it a marital, under the garb of calling it disproportionate or excessively harsh. Because I truly believe that criminalization will send a strong message about consent and the importance of bodily autonomy, reinforcing the idea that no one should endure violence regardless of their relationship status.
Sana, would you say that the matter of consent also comes in here? You know, on one hand, the government has strict measures against child marriages. On the other hand, they are opposing something like a criminalization of marital rape, where there is a sense of consent also. There's a matter of consent also. Do you think both these things are contradictory? On one hand, you criminalize marital, say that don't criminalize marital rape. On the other hand, crack down on child marriages.
Yes, absolutely. This is an absolutely contradictory stance. And in addition, also, it defeats the very purpose of Section 375 IPC as well as Section 63 of the BNS Act. You know, with the providing stringent punishment for rape, where there is a clear definition that consent, once the woman withdraws her consent, it is called rape. So why does it not extend to married women? Consent becomes immaterial for married women. That is not just that is not just unfair and unconstitutional. That is also absolutely contradictory to their own stance. And as you already mentioned, for child rights, from other rights, then why does a married woman cease to have rights when it comes to just because the marriage has been solemnized?
Right.
I mean, the rights are also equally essential and should be absolutely recognized and I truly believe, considering the landmark judgments of the Supreme Court, that this petition will definitely uphold and will definitely hold in our favor.
Interesting there. The centre is opposing a criminalization of marital rape, while Supreme Court is debating, is having this issue of marital rape debated. We will, of course, very closely track what happens in the end. Thank you very much, Sana, for joining us.